Hey gang, this is Bill Storm coming to you with part two of my backstory. In part one, I talked a little bit about some funny things that happened to me early on in my life, kindergarten all the way up to about fifth grade or so, one of which was the lemonade stand story where I decided to open up a lemonade stand and sell one cup for 10 cents and two for 25. So today I want to talk to you about what happened next in my life and how it relates to my business, okay? So around 10 years old, somewhere in there, from around fifth grade to my early teens, I was heavily involved in scouting, okay? And that's something that very few people actually know about me. And the motto of the Scouts is be prepared. And I can't think of anything that is more relevant than being prepared when it comes to running a business, okay? Especially if you're working online. By and large, you are the boss. You are in charge of yourself. There's nobody looking over your shoulder, holding you accountable. It's all on you. So you have to make sure you're prepared mentally, physically, and spiritually. Okay, mentally, this is a big one. Most of us, all of us, when we are growing up, we are conditioned a certain way. Our brains have thoughts and belief systems imprinted on us based on what our family values were or what our family's thought patterns were. Some of those things are really, really empowering, and some of them are not so much, right? And some of those are actually limiting belief systems that will hold you back from succeeding in your business. Matter of fact, I was talking to my dad the other day, and he was kind of reliving and telling me a story about him growing up in a really, really small town and then going to Syracuse University and actually getting a job working for the university. And he had all of these doubts in his head because, who am I? I'm just this young kid from a small town. What do I know? So he spent a lot of his time worrying about how he was dressed or, what he should say or what he shouldn't say, instead of just bringing forth the value and the knowledge that he actually had surrounding the topic that other people really wanted to learn from him. Okay, so that was a limiting belief pattern, and those are so true. So when you run your own business, one of the things that you'll find is you'll hit a lid at some point where your beliefs don't match what your goals are or your aspirations are. So each and every day, we really have to work on putting those false beliefs on trial and then reconditioning or rewiring our brains to establish some new belief patterns behind those things to allow us to get to the next level. I cannot stress to you how important that is and how many times I've run and hit that lid, okay? Number two, physically, you're gonna have some physical demands. Now in scouting, there was a thing that we did, it was called the 50 miler. And the 50 miler was a combination of hiking and canoeing. Now, when you're 10 years old, 12 years old, you don't understand what 50 miles is until you actually start putting one foot in front of the other and you start doing it. And you start to see how tired you get, okay? So the thing is, before you, take off on a journey like that, especially with your own business, you have to be in physically good shape in order to be able to sustain the energy level that you need in order to make it work. So I would really highly encourage you to make sure that you're prepared. If you're not in shape now, get in shape and stay in shape, because you're going to need this in order to perform at a high level. And then last, spiritually, you have to make sure that your heart is in it, and you have to make sure that you are constantly reconnecting to what you feel you were put on this earth to do. What is your calling? That is going to give you the drive and motivation in order to be able to succeed, okay? Now, the next thing I also want to share with you about my scouting experience is that was really my first goal setting experience as a kid, right? You start out, when you first start out, you're just a brand new scout, but eventually you work through the different badges until you eventually reach the rank of Eagle Scout, okay? And that is basically learning short range, mid range, and long range goals. So I thought I'd share this with you. This was kind of fun. I actually still have this in my closet from, basically 40 years ago. And this is my sash that has all of my merit badges on it, okay? Now, merit badges are basically just things that I decided to learn, and you get rewarded for them, right? As you learn them. There's on here, there's one about first aid, there's horsemanship, there's electricity, there's cooking, there's architecture. There's all these different kinds of things, and it always reminds me of the quote by Jim Rohn that says, a formal education will get you a job, but self-education will make you rich. And I think that's very, very true. You have to be an avid learner. You have to be somebody who is always hungry. You're thirsty for more knowledge, and that's what's going to drive you in your business to be able to serve at a really higher level. Now, here's the last thing that I want to share with you about my scouting experience. This is really fun. One of the things that we did to support the troop, okay, was we made homemade donuts. And I will tell you right now, these were the best donuts you've ever eaten in your entire life. I mean, absolutely best donuts. Plain cinnamon and powdered sugar. That's all they were. And we had this machine, and we brought it into our scout den, which was basically a big constructed. It was like a trailer that was in the back of a church parking lot. That was our scout den, okay? And we'd set this thing up, and we'd get the oil in it and heat that up. Then we'd make the batter, right? And all the kids would be there, and the scoutmaster and the parents and all this stuff. We were all there, and we're making this batter, and then we would start making the donuts. And when those donuts would go through that conveyor belt, and they would come out, and they were fresh, and they were hot, and they were a little bit crispy on the outside, but they were super soft on the inside, and they just had flavor like you couldn't believe. So we would make these donuts, and then once we made the donuts, we'd either keep them plain or box them up and have them with powdered sugar or cinnamon. And then what we were in charge of doing was going out into the world, right, into our neighborhoods, and we had to sell these donuts. Okay, now I got sprinkled with sales dust when I was a kid or something, I don't know, but I actually liked doing it. A lot of people don't enjoy doing it that much, but I really enjoyed going to my neighbors' houses. And what I did that helped me sell so many donuts was I told the story, and I talked to them about how we set it up and how they were made and why they were so delicious. And I explained how they were a little bit crispy and then soft on the inside, and they just had to have these donuts. And then if they bought a box of donuts, I would say, well, you know what, those plain ones are good, but you should really try these cinnamon ones because they're amazing. Now, again, I'm a kid, so I'm being very sincere about this. I thought the donuts were just the jam. I thought they were amazing. So, of course, people bought lots and lots of donuts. So all of these things, you can kind of see that the reason I wanted to share my backstory, part 1, part 2, and I'm going to keep going with this, is all of these things are the things that you learn in life that are going to help you prepare to be able to be successful in your business. And most of those things all come from just your enthusiasm for life and being able to share something of value with the world that you have, whatever your zone genius is. So hopefully you're having a good time following along with my backstory here. And if you get a minute, love to have you drop me a comment and just let me know if you enjoyed the story, if there's an aha moment, a takeaway, something that you really enjoyed about it. Until then, I will see you next time on part 3.